Hello again, Stoveminders. Good morning, Tuesday morning. It's the 1st of December. One more month to go in 2020, Anno Domini, and about 3 months left to the hot stove. It may be a long, cold winter ahead, but I'm happy to report that the temperature has risen a little bit, courtesy of the Kansas City Royals. Yes, the Royals. Not a team that's super active in the offseason, typically. They're a small market organization that prefers to draft and develop talent rather than pursuing free agents, much like the Green Bay Packers of the NFL. Yes, it's football season. And the Royals have been rebuilding for the past few years. They finished 26-34 in 2020. Bad enough for the 7th overall pick in next summer's draft, so they're still in the midst of getting back up to speed. But the fact that Kansas City welcomes Mike Minor and Michael A. Taylor indicates that things may be looking upwards on the wrong side of Missouri. Let's begin with Mr. Michael A. Taylor, an outfielder coming in on a one-year deal worth $1.75 million with an extra milli in incentives. Taylor was a Washington National from draft day to two-day. A former top 50 prospect who never carved out a regular role in D.C., bounced between the majors and AAA at times, and besides a good 2017 campaign and a couple of postseason heroics and just being a nice depth piece in that Nationals outfield, Taylor didn't bring much to the table. He's a .237 career hitter over parts of 7 seasons with an OPS plus of 80 in his lifetime and a 31.7% strikeout rate in his career. Not to mention his slugging and on base are below average. So what's there to like about MAT? What can he do? Well, he can field. He can field. A career 23 defensive runs saved above average in center field. And Taylor can play the corners too. That's important because Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals, is one of the biggest yards in baseball. And the Royals have put a premium on defense in recent years. See Aaron Gordon. Taylor also has an upside of a 20 double hitter, double-digit stolen bases. He's got legs, but that all hinges on whether or not he can take playing time away from the likes of Bubba Starling and Franchi Cordero. Not a high bar. I think he can weasel in a little bit of playing time. Could turn out nicely for both parties. I mean, Taylor, now 29 years old, clearly needed a change of scenery from D.C., and as I said, the Royals would love guy who can play center field very well. And more consequential, more important, I would say, was the Royals signing of left-handed starting pitcher Mike Minor. Terms haven't been disclosed with physical pending, but the word is a multi-year deal, likely a 2-year deal for the soon-to-be 33-year-old pitcher. So where to start with this veteran? Let's go to 2017, when Minor made his comeback after missing 2 seasons, 2015 and 16, nursing a shoulder injury, and he made that comeback as a reliever with the Kansas City Royals. He pitched nicely out of the Royals' pen that year, had an ERA under 3, and a 4-to-1 strikeout-to-walk ratio. After that, Minor joined the Rangers. He went back to starting, which was his role in Atlanta pre-injury. Down in Texas, Minor put together a couple of good campaigns in 2018 and 19. Cumulative ERA of 3.84 in that span. He had an All-Star nomination, some down-ballot Cy Young votes in that time. It was looking pretty good. He was mentioned quite a lot as a potential trade chip for the Rangers. He eventually did get traded last year, or this year rather, to the Oakland Athletics. But overall in 2020 was not so good for Minor. Wasn't for a lot of guys. But if the Royals get even close to career average Mike Minor, where you're talking about an ERA and FIP both at 3.98, a 1.223 whip. So an adequate number 3 starter on a just kind of like a regular playoff team, but you're talking about a rebuilding team. Minor could be the number 1 starter in the staff. Could even be the opening day starter considering his experience. He does also bring a 97th percentile spin rate if that's what you like to look at, which is good. All in all, I think the Royals should be happy with the signing because the Kansas City rotation in 2020 relied on young arms like Brad Keller and Brady Singer, which is exciting for the future. As I mentioned, they've been rebuilding for a few years now, so to see these young guys finally make an impact is good, but it's also nice to have a veteran in the mix to complement these young arms, maybe teach them something. And I understand they have Danny Duffy, who's a lifetime Royal, but I would say Minor's ceiling is even higher than Duffy's. So, in addition to both sides of the ball for Kansas City, thank you to General Manager Dayton Moore. Yes, this team has a way to go, and the Royals could definitely use more help in the batter's box, looking at their overall team numbers last season. But with some prospects graduated, it's important to bring in these pieces like Michael A. Taylor, the center fielder, and an experienced starter like lefty Mike Minor. Got more to say in regard to this week in baseball. I thought about saving it for another video, but we're only 6.5 minutes in, so I might as well go off. I mostly want to get this off and up and on because of tomorrow's non-tender deadline. December 2nd, teams are allowed to cut ties with certain arbitration-eligible players. I think you have to be in your final 2 years of arbitration to get non-tendered. If you remember earlier this month, I guess last month, when all those guys had their options declined, teams are cutting payroll like crazy across the league. Everybody lost money. They're saving money by any means necessary. I think there's going to be a lot of non-tenders, and I just want to be prepared for that whole influx, that flood of even more new free agents. Yeah, I mean, this class, this pool, this market just got flooded compared to what was supposed to happen. But I want to talk about something, a couple interesting little tidbits of baseball news. I'll save the gossip for last. Spoiler alert, Tommy Pham got stabbed at a strip club. It's not good. But in Major League Baseball, the league may have done something good for the game. They have announced the Draft League, a new summer league starting next season that will pit the nation's top draft-eligible players to compete in a 68-game season consisting of 6 teams, 5 of which have been confirmed so far. And the teams that have been confirmed so far are all former minor league affiliates, particularly from those lower levels, Class A short season and such, which Major League Baseball decided to cut and kill this past summer, which caused a little bit of controversy since, the minor leagues are so important to the infrastructure of baseball as a whole. But I think this is a great adaptation and a great move forward, the Draft League. So what will happen under this plan is the draft will actually get moved from June to July, all the way to the All-Star Weekend, which is great because it puts an even bigger spotlight on the draft, which usually doesn't get a lot of coverage. And it puts it at a time when there's nothing else really going on in baseball, as opposed to on a day where there's other games playing. And the fact that these prospects, these draft-eligible players, the top ones in fact, are going to be playing against each other in the run-up to that draft is going to be super exciting. It's going to showcase these young talents, and it may raise the draft stock of some while tanking the draft stock of others. So far, you got teams in West Virginia, Williamsport, Trenton, so New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Mahoning Valley, and a place called State College. A clarification, the league itself will not stop on draft day. It will run into August. So the draft will happen sort of in the second half of the season of the draft league. And there's obviously a lot of details to hammer out regarding that, such as whether or not MLB teams who have signed guys they've drafted, whether or not they want them to continue playing that or whether they want to send them to some of their other affiliates, like what's that thing called, the Gulf Coast League, or you know what I mean, like the other summer leagues and such, to be under the closer watch of some of their specialists and such. But pretty exciting. I think this could be really good for baseball. As I said, showcasing the top prospects when usually going into the draft. Even as a casual baseball fan, you'll probably know like a couple guys, but that's it. So to get a better idea and to be at least a little bit familiar of whoever your team ends up drafting in the first round at least will be nice. Who knows? We may see some cool stuff come out of this. And as I mentioned, to bring in former minor league affiliates into this league is great because it keeps baseball going in those small towns and keeps the people involved with those franchises afloat. These are tough times economically, so good stuff there. Draft league. Sounds cool. What was I going to say? All right, yeah, so Tommy Pham got... so yes, as I said, Tommy Pham was stabbed at a San Diego strip club, Pacers Showgirls International, on October the 11th, and he has now filed charges. He has sued the club. Why? Will. According to his lawsuit, so the fight that broke out that led to the stabbing happened in the club's parking lot. Pham said the establishment's security team, so the bouncers and shit, escalated and participated in the fight, which increased the risk to him. He said, or rather, he believes that the club's employees did not contact police or try to mitigate the dangers, and the business failed to take preventive measures to prevent this from happening. So Pham got stabbed in the back, literally, which is kind of ironic. He avoided any organ damage, so he should be good to go for the start of the next season. Great news for Padres fans. Not so great news for Pham, who has struggled with minor injuries throughout his career. That's kind of kept him from being a regular everyday player when clearly his talent is quite high. So yeah, that sucks. Kind of interesting that this didn't happen in Tampa when he played there, considering Tampa is the strip club capital of America. Anyway, to end things up, a little bit of rumor roundup for you. So CC Sabathia is getting a documentary. Congratulations to Yogi Bear. Some pre-non-tender deadline deals where teams have avoided arbitration. Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez, is staying put in Boston. The Cubs are trying to tender Chris Bryant contract. Yeah, I'd rather actually trade him for something than non-tender him, even though that would be kind of a relief. The Marlins made some pitching changes. They acquired Adam Simber, who, if you watched the Indians at all recently, he's that guy with the long hair and the goofy delivery. And they DFA'd Jose Urena. How the mighty have fallen. Blue Jays are in on everybody, on absolutely everybody. They've been trying to get George Springer. They've been trying to get Colton Wong, or even DJ LeMahieu for that matter. I think they were asking about Lindor. Justin Turner's on their shopping list. Yeah, they're doing everything. Ross Atkins, the Jays GM, just going crazy, going all in. I kind of love it. And apparently the Reds are pushing hard to upgrade their shortstop position, and I've been looking towards the trade market. Trevor Story and Francisco Lindor, not to mention free agent Marcos Semien, Didi Gregorius, who I believe is a former Red. I do believe he was a former Red. Who did Cincinnati have playing shortstop last season? Freddie Galvis. Not a great hitter. Great hair. Good defense. Not a great hitter. And anything else went crazy? Oh yeah, so the Koreans, the NC Dinos of the KBO have posted Sung Boom Na. Not Sung Bum, it's Sung Boom. He is really good. He hit very, very well in the KBO. And I understand that's a hitter-friendly league. But even then, when you talk about a guy who with a slugging percentage just under 600 and a 324 batting average, 34 homers, 37 doubles, the guy's good. The guy's good. What position does he play? He's an outfielder / designated hitter. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. He's a Scott Boras client. That's what's going on in baseball. That's what's going on the stove. Stay warm. Stay hydrated. Get yourself some vitamins. Good day.